Okay, Drew. So after we published our 30th episode of Top of the Standings, I mentioned how I had my baseball cap on, a baseball cap on for the first time ever in the Top of the Standings series. And obviously, the last story time you mentioned to us about your baseball cap collection.
Hmm.
So I thought to myself, you know what? Why not feed off of that baseball hat collection and
Okay.
tell a story about one single legendary baseball cap?
I like it.
And that baseball cap is a Chicago Cubs hat.
Okay. Okay.
One of the caps that you actually own.
Yeah.
Um,
My first ever fitted hat.
yep. Now I have to ask Drew because this hat has so much history, so much Jotomic history behind it. Yes, I said Jotomic. This has so much Jotomic history behind it that I had to tell this story because it this hat is legendary of some sorts. It's not legendary in terms of the team it represents, but legendary in terms of the adventures it has been on with its owner.
Okay.
First and foremost, dude, when was the last time you saw a restaurant sponsorship on a back of a baseball cap?
It's been a while. It has certainly been a while. You don't see it too often.
Like I'm like it has Arby's on the back of it. I'm like, I always wondered. I'm thinking Arby's is on the back of it. I'm just like, are you serious? I never knew the sponsorships were like this. I'm like, restaurants on the back of a baseball cap. That's pretty interesting enough as it is.
I
I
think
never thought I'd ever see it.
it's kind of funny. It says I'm thinking Arby's, and I think they did that because it's a hat. It's next to your brain. Your brain thinks. Get it?
Yeah, something like that. But the story of how I got the hat. Now, I obviously do not remember how I got the hat. Why? Because I had it at such a young age,
Okay.
even though it still fits my head. So you know how you see all these the Bronco flags behind me, signaling that I used to be a big Broncos fan back in the day. Well, Drew, I got a secret for you. There's a little corner in my room. You see that flag? Yeah, this little giant Broncos flag. Well, you take a look at the corner, and you'll be met with a World Series pennant, a lunchbox hanging, an inflatable baseball bat, and then another pennant.
Nice. And a
So
lunchbox.
yeah, nice little lunchbox. I'll take this with me to college.
Okay.
Um, because I haven't had a chance to use it in high school because I mean I don't take lunches to school anymore. Um, so yeah, let's take this thing to college with me. It's pretty nice, pretty luxurious. Pretty big.
Of course.
Nice sizable lunchbox.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, dude. So apparently, when I was younger, before I was a Mariners fan, I was a bit of a Cubs fan.
You
Um,
kind of sounded surprised at your own fandom. You're like, before for some reason, before I was a Mariners fan, I was actually a Cubs fan. Well, you kind of sounded a little bit surprised.
yeah, because I sound surprised because of how far I've came. Because look, dude, we've mentioned the 2016 World Series a couple of times, story times. Um, we've even argued about it and compared Joe Buck's call to his Jose Altuve Game 6 World Series world well, I won't say World Series walk off, ALCS walk off. But this is the time where we dig deep into it because I have a great story in hand with this baseball cap, not just because of the World Series, but because of something that happened the summer before that World Series. And Andrew, get ready to get caught off guard.
Okay, I am
So,
prepared.
so Drew, in the summer of 2016, in the midst of the Cubs championship season, I attended a summer camp, and this is actually connecting to a story time I told about that time where I hit a 3-run inside the park home run. Remember that?
Yep.
I was showboating on my way to home plate. I was getting lit with everybody. That was the only home run I had ever hit in my life. And yeah, yeah, this baseball cap is connected to that story. Didn't talk about it that much, but same camp, same place, and this story still gets me. When you hear this story, that is the signal that you're a real homie.
Okay.
So I wore this Chicago Cubs baseball cap for a field trip on the last week of that camp. It was July 11th, 2016. Yes, I remember the exact date because it was that memorable. Dude, so there was this girl that had been flirting with me for weeks. And we went on a trip to downtown Chicago, went to the Sky Deck, went to Giordano's, the Bean, all that, Chicago stuff.
All right.
So I get back on the bus, right, with my Chicago Cubs baseball cap on because it's Chicago. So she decides to sit next to me, and I'm like, I had never felt the rush before. So I'm like, oh my gosh, my 13-year-old self is like, oh my gosh, a girl is sitting next to me. It's the power of the baseball cap. I'm like, okay, calm down, Jotham. If she keeps her head on your shoulder, you make a move. And dude, after a minute, she kissed me. I was like, whoa, this has to be the power of the cap. Has to be. And dude, what makes it even more crazy for me is that I was an eighth grader at the time. She was going into her freshman year. So I was like, what's going on here? So dude, when I got back to the campsite after that long bus ride of sitting next to her, we got off the bus to go back to get on the bus that takes us back home. And the girl that was flirting with me, she took this cap off of my head and put it on her head, and everybody in the camp went ballistic. Somebody said, I remember this girl was like, "Oh, Jotham gave her his baseball cap as a souvenir," and then everybody had their phones out like, "This is the next big camp couple!" Hey, hey! To give Phil in a little bit of context, I was a pretty well-respected dude at that camp.
Okay.
So a lot of people were kind of on my side, ish. But dude, nothing that happened before that will compare to the absolute randomness of what I am about to tell you. So we're getting ready to get on the bus to go home, right? And you know how on buses you have to take a few steps to get on the actual bus?
Yeah.
So dude, she took 2 steps on the bus. I'm right behind her. I'm waiting in line to get I'm right behind her in line to get on that bus. Bro, she stopped on the second step, looked back. She saw me waiting, and I'm standing there like, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Get on the bus. Bro, she firmly grabbed my wrist. She grabbed my wrist and yanked me all the way to the back of the bus.
Okay.
All the way. I'm just like, what the heck what are you doing? And then she's getting all touchy-wutchy, and I'm just like, what the heck? What is this? And I'm thinking, oh wait, is this what happens in the movies? I'm like, oh wait. And then the paparazzi, the junior paparazzi comes right like, oh shoot, Jotham, oh snap, Jotham. I'm like, hey bro, go back to the front of the bus, bro.
TMZ on the bus, reporting live.
Yeah, dude. And I was just like, and they listened because, well, it was me, and they respected me. So I'm like, what you bring me to the back of the bus for, bro? She pushed me to the window, and the rest was history. That was the magic of the baseball cap, because it was just it was insane. But anyways, dude, this cap, this was a signal of my first experience with a girl. So I was just like, yo, this cap already has legendary history behind it. But then afterwards, all my life, I was interested in the Cubs because of one reason. Remember when I told you that I was a Browns fan for a period of time because I thought the helmet was cool?
Yeah, let me guess, you were a big fan of the letter C.
I was a big fan of the letter C. I was like, whoa, that C looks so cool. It was just like I see the Reds and I see the Indians, and I'm like, whoa, the Cubs C is so cool. Just like that circle is so cool. I don't know what I was thinking back then, but obviously in Chicago there are two baseball teams, the Sox and the Cubs. And back then I was like, ew, black and white is so bland. I like blue and red. Give me blue and red. And you know, basically my childhood was defined by a little bit of defiance because my dad is a diehard White Sox fan. You know, obviously we're in the south side of Chicago, so it's a lot of Sox fans. And I went ahead and I was like, go Cubs, just for the heck of it. Um, and obviously this was before I knew what a Mariner was. Um, so I was just like chilling, and like I said, and this actually connects back to my origin story of how I got into the MLB and how I got into all these professional sports. So in 2015, when the Cubs won their first playoff series in forever against the Cardinals, that's when I started to really hear about baseball and started to hear anything related to baseball because my mom had a friend who was a Mets fan, and obviously the Mets swept the Cubs in the NLCS that year,
Yeah.
but then turned around and got spanked by the Royals in the World Series. And my mom was trolling that Mets fan, and like crazy. I was like, "Yo, so this is what sports is like." I'm like, "Let me see what this MLB is all about." And so I tuned into the 2016 postseason with this very cap on. I'm like, "Go Cubbies!" I guess they beat the Giants, beat the Dodgers, which I didn't know. Look, dude, I was actually so hyped for that NLCS. Dude, look, bro. At the same time as they won Game 1 of that NLCS, Penn State had just upset Ohio State. Dude, I think you remember when Penn State blocked that kick and ran it back for a game-winning touchdown. Dude, that same night the Cubs beat the Dodgers. Dude, I yelled so loudly I set the alarm off.
You were on cloud nine. You got
Oh yeah.
two great sporting events for your respective teams.
Oh yeah. I was on so much cloud 9. We might have to bump it up one value and say cloud 10 because I was that hyped. Like I was so hyped. Like now you probably know why I don't like the Dodgers because I mean they were always in the way. They were in the way.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo. And Drew, little did I know what I was gonna witness in the World Series with the Indians and the Cubs. So for the Game 1, I had always, early on in my sports experiences, I looked at series and I thought I got real mathematical with it. I'm like, okay, so if one team wins Game 1, they usually lose Game 2. But if they win both of the first games, they usually lose Game 3. I was getting so mathematical with, okay, who will win this game due to the math?
Did you have a specific theorem or equation to solve these equations?
So if the favorite wins Game 1, they're not winning Game 2. If the favorite wins the first 2 games, they're not winning Game 3. If they win the first 3 games, they're going to win Game 4.
Has this hypothesis proved correct?
Multiple times it has been proven incorrect. Especially in this series because I had an extended theory when my initial theory was broken that because the Indians went up 1-0, then the Cubs won Game 2, tied at 1. Indians won Game 3. I'm assuming that the Cubs are going to win Game 4 and tie the series at 2. And when Javier Baez struck out to end the night and the Indians went up 3-1, I actually cried in my bed. My 13-year-old self actually cried in my bed. I really, really wanted the Cubs to win. For whatever reason, I guess I just really, really, really wanted the Cubs to break that drought. And yeah, I cried that night. And I was just like, oh my gosh. the Sunday. Um, actually, no, not that game 4 was a Saturday night. Um, game 5 was on Sunday, and I'm just like, I can't wait for this series to be over. The Indians are gonna win anyway. So, but this is after I had that Cavaliers 3-1 lead, 3-1 comeback in my mind because like 2016, that's when the Warriors blew the 3-1 lead.
Yep.
And 2016 World Series, well, the Indians are up 3-1. I'm like, this series is over. Cubs aren't gonna win. Then they eke out a win in Game 5, or Otis Chapman comes up clutch with the save or whatever. And I'm like, well, at least it doesn't end in Chicago. I was so hopeless, dude. I was so hopeless. And I'm just like, well, more baseball, I guess. One more night of baseball. Dude, Game 6 came around, and they won decisively. The Cubs won decisively. Now we're looking at a Game 7. I'm like, oh snap, I got my mojo back. Just like
the power of the cap.
Power of the cap. I instantly went from, oh, woe is me, sucks to be a Cubs fan, to, okay, Game 7, what's up? Game 7, what's up? We got the squad, what's up?
All right.
Momentum.
Tell me, in Game 7, do you think the power of the cap was on your side when Rajai Davis hit the home run?
Yes, I did, because the thing about the cap was that it signals a roller coaster. It also signals, it's just an up and down series of events. Like, dude, that whole summer girl experience, that came out of nowhere. I didn't expect that to happen. so this thing is a symbol of unpredictability.
Uh-oh, what's going to happen next?
And some dude, it was funny because the Cubs were up like 5-1 in the middle innings. And I'm chilling, cruising. David Ross hits a home run. I think Dexter Fowler hit a home run too. And I'm just chilling. It's 5-1. I'm like, oh, we're gonna win the World Series. It's not. I'm like, 4 runs. You can't come back from 4 runs down in baseball. Oh boy, how much little baseball I've watched. Just all the baseball I had seen. As soon as you went up 4, it was over. Usually, from the baseball that I saw, the limited amount of baseball that I saw,
it
was like 4-run comebacks were foreign to me until obviously I saw the Indians go on a little run, and I was like, oh my gosh, they started getting runs in, and wild pitch. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, and dude, in the back of my mind, I knew by the time this game is over, somebody is going to choke. Somebody is going to have had choked the World Series away.
Yeah.
Whether there's 2 ways you could have looked at it. Indians blew a 3-1 lead. Cubs blew a 4-run lead in Game 7. I mean, those were the ways to look at it. And that 5th inning had me worried like crazy. And I'm just like, okay, we still got this. We got this. But the 8th inning came around. We're up 6-3. Indians put up a 3-run 8th inning. I said, holy crap. And dude, Rajai Davis hit that home run. I looked at the TV like I was shook. I'm pretty sure every Cubs fan was like, no, not here, not now.
That is exactly. I have direct proof because, believe it or not, I actually called that because Rajai Davis was one of my favorite players in the MLB because he used to be a Detroit Tiger. I always loved the way he played. I always loved the way he defended, got in long, deep at bats, would, do everything he could to get on base. And I just remember as he was walking to the plate, I said out loud, watching with my diehard Cubs fan of a mom, I said, 3-run dinger. 1 pitch later, that exactly happened.
Oh my goodness, dude.
I've never seen my mom that mad over a sports game because I called it.
Dude, now Rajai Davis, He had himself a game. I mean, the two hits he had, enormous. And he had three ribbies that game, and that home run. Oh my gosh, dude! Even though I was rooting for the Cubs, I was like, that is electric.
Yeah.
That the way Cleveland reacted to that home run. Oh my gosh, they went ballistic, and I'm just like, this is what I love to see in sports. Even though, I mean, I would have been, okay with the Indians winning, but I just wanted the Cubs to win so bad because, well, Chicago, young Jotham.
Yeah, of course.
But either way, a drop was going to be snapped, and I was going to be cool. Um, but man, seeing the Cubs the game was tied. I'm like, you have got to be freaking kidding me. You got to be kidding me. And see the look on Aroldis Chapman's face when he gave up that home run was, I mean, Aroldis Chapman has had some priceless looks on his face after giving up big home runs. Um, that's funny. The two calls we mentioned earlier both involve Aroldis Chapman giving up a home run.
Mhm.
Yikes! Oh boy! But the look on his face when he was a Cub, he just looked back and I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude, you got to do something. This is not good. This is not good. And he obviously got him out of that inning. Got him, in the extra innings. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the rain delay, dude. I had never been so awakened at 2 in the morning in my life. I had never been so wide awake. I am an eighth grader in middle
Was
school.
it 2 in the morning? I thought it was a little bit earlier than that.
No, well, the rain delay wasn't like 2 in the morning, but yeah, I think I overshot it a little bit. Um, the rain delay was like at like maybe, I don't know, 11 ish, midnight ish,
Yeah.
and I was feeling shook. I was feeling a rush all morning, early morning long, and the rain delay. I was agitated because I was like, oh, the rain, ugh. But I'm like, the Cubs have got to do something. They got to score some runs. They got to score some runs. And Zobrist comes through. The boys come through. They all came through, and I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. 8-6. Come on, we can win this. They give up a run the next half inning. I'm like, oh, this is in jeopardy. And dude, my heart was pounding because the winning run was on base for the Indians. I mean, the winning run was at the plate for the Indians, and I'm just like, please don't hit a home run. Please don't hit a home run. Please don't hit a home run. And he hits a ground ball chopper. And the thing about it, my mom could not watch the entire game. She was absolutely nervous. I
Exactly.
had
My,
never
my
seen
mom
her.
did too. She didn't even watch the last out. I was like, "Come on, you gotta watch it. You've been waiting this long. You gotta come in here and watch it."
I was just like, oh my gosh. And I was like, Mom, come on, I want to watch the game with you. She's like, Jotham, no, I can't take it. I go in my own room. I'm like, okay, I'll turn it on in my own TV. And then after they scored 2 runs, got them insurance runs, we turned it back on. And yeah, don't worry. I saw the final out live. I couldn't believe it. It was such a tough play. I didn't think Chris Bryant was going to make that play, and he did. I mean, I just had a feeling he wasn't going to make the play because Cubs choking, in
I
some way,
guess,
shape, or
but
form.
wasn't he the 2016 MVP?
Yeah, I threw all that stuff out the window when it came to the Game 7 of the World Series. I was just so nervous. I didn't know what to think. All I knew was he grabs the ball, he throws it to Anthony Rizzo, he catches it, and you win the World Series. He did exactly that. Rizzo threw his hands up. I was like, we did it! We did it! I went on, oh my gosh. I tried not to be too loud because my little sister was sleeping. Um, but I couldn't help myself. I was so teed. Oh my gosh, I was so happy. I was so happy, dude. You don't understand. Oh, well, you do understand because your mom's a Cubs fan too.
Yeah.
Um, but I was absolutely going ballistic, and then I had trouble sleeping, dude, because I was just going on my phone watching the play over and over and over again. Like that was the first time I really like watched something over and over over again. I couldn't get enough of that game. It was such an instant classic game. Like the series was but that game 7 just, oh my gosh, the blood pressure just shot through the roof.
Yeah,
Whew.
yeah. Power of the cap.
Power of the cap, man. And then what's funny is that my middle school, Dirksen Middle School in Calumet City, dude, I will never forget, us being in the room just celebrating the Cubs World Series, like literally dedicating so much time to celebrating the Cubs World Series. I'm like, this feels like a day off. This feels like a day off.
Well, do you remember the parade? There was like 8
Oh
million
yeah,
people. Eight
we
million
watched the
people.
parade live.
Dude, yeah. I mean, that was one of the biggest parades in, I think, American history, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, it was. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But you know what? It all goes back to the power of the cap, man. It made it.
Yes, yes.
It happened.
Dude, and speaking of the power of the cap, if I called that home run, I must have had some superpowers too. Some spidey
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, dude. Now, what's the last part of this story? Not too much action, but still, it's noteworthy. So, what did we do to celebrate the World Series? Well, Andrew, we got some merchandise. We got a lot of merchandise. I showed you the pennant in the inflatable bag, the lunchbox, the pennant already. But Drew, we got ourselves some T-shirts,
Oh,
and
nice.
I got myself. Let's see, where is it? Bingo. Got myself a World Series championship T-shirt
Oh,
right here.
nice. I like that.
I was like, ooh, that looks so saucy.
That,
It looks pretty good.
yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, of course, he had to get it. They won the World Series after
Yeah,
108 years, so it's necessary.
yeah. This aged pretty well. Not in terms of the team's aftermath 5 years later, but in terms of just how it looks and the history behind it.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
I mean, it always gives me chills. That World Series, obviously unforgettable. But Drew, after we bought all that merchandise on a Friday evening before the sunset, because well, I usually love to get my dinner in before the sun sets on a Friday night, so I can just be out like a light the whole Friday after being exhausted from school or something. Um, so where did we go for a championship dinner? Of all places, it has to be Chili's.
Hmm.
Chili's, and I was like, wow. So this is Chili's food. I'm
Yeah,
like, this is actually decent.
Chili's has some good food, definitely.
Yeah, dude. And I'm just like, wow. This is what a championship dinner feels like. And I'm just looking at so many people in Cubs apparel, and I'm just like, wow. So everybody is really hyped about just as hyped about this as I am.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. I was like, I mean, well, I'm not surprised that everybody's happy the Cubs won, but like just seeing it in person, seeing all these Cubs fans in person, decked out in the Cubbie blue. It was just like, yo, this is actually insane.
Yeah, yeah, that is pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah, dude. But outside of that, this baseball cap of mine hasn't seen a lot of action in public. But you know what? 2016 will always be the year of the power of the Cubbie cap.
I like it.
So that is the end of my pretty all around the world story time special. From girls to World Series, we went around the horn, around the diamond, I should say.
Yeah, for sure.
Whew. Wow. And it's like, dude, I'm telling you, that summer story, that summer, that look, 2016 was probably the best year of my life. That was probably the single-handedly the best year of my life, because I think Clemson won the national championship that year. I like that. The Broncos won Super Bowl 50. I was a Broncos fan at the time. The Cavs came back from down 3-1. The Cubs won the World Series. And I kicked off that was the year that kicked off my true sports fandom.
I,
What
I
a legend! Oh my gosh, what a legendary year that was.
yeah, that makes sense. I get it.
Yeah, but that's the end of my story time. Had to piggyback off of that baseball cap collection because it was so relevant.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously, you own one of these.
Of course, multiple.
Oh yeah, multiple. Maybe it doesn't have um, restaurants on the back of it on randomness, but still a good cap.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, everybody, this was my story time special for this week. If you guys enjoy, give us that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 star rating on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or whatever device you're using to listen to or watch Top of the Standings and the story time special. Give us that like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and of course, give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The big three. This has been Storytime Special number 27. So we will see you guys next week for number 28. Peace.